Okay, next one we're going to look at is 2012 C1 paper, January. I'm going to start off with question 3b. So just simplifying one there. So first of all, adding fractions, make the bottoms the same. So both of them will be x minus 3, x add 3. The first fraction needs an extra x plus 3. The second fraction needs an extra x minus 3. I'll just factorise this when I'm here. It's a difference of 2 squares. So, bottom's the same. So, times out the tops. We simplify it up. X squared minus 3x, add 4x minus 12. I'll not times out the bottom because it's sitting nicely factorised there. Remember to divide by fractions, turn them upside down and you multiply. Over x plus 3, x plus 6. They cancel. Tidying up this top line here, I have x squared minus x squared disappears. Here I've got 1x, so 3x minus 1x is 2x. Minus 12 is plus 12. The bottom line is just x plus 6. I can factorise out the 2. The top and bottoms now cancel to leave me with 2. I have another one to do, another 2 to do out of this paper actually. So question 5a, part 1. Just scroll it up so we can see what it looks like. So it's right in the, basically complete the square for this and find the maximum, the minimum point and the value when it occurs. So it's quite straightforward, just completing the square question here. X squared plus 6x minus 2. It starts off x squared, so you don't have to do anything to that. So you just half the middle, subtract the new number squared, and drop down the end. So that's the first part of the question answered. The next bit wants to see what the minimum looks like. There's your x squared graph. Inside the brackets, you move it back, do the opposite, so it's minus 3. So that's x plus 3 squared. Now I've got to drop it down 11. So just take that graph, minus 3 and minus 11. So the minimum is minus 11 and that occurs at x equals negative 3. Now the next bit of this question was solve a wee quadratic. Just make sure everything goes on one side as normal for quadratic equations. So part 3, x squared plus 6x, that 2 goes over to minus 2. It doesn't factorise, so use your formula. A is 1, B is 6, and C is minus 2. So x is minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So b minus 6 plus or minus the square root b squared, so that is 36 minus 4 times a times c. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times minus 2 is minus 8, so it's minus 8 plus 8 all over 2. So minus 6 plus or minus the square root of 44 over 2. You would be expected to break that down into, let me just cross a little bit, minus 6 plus or minus square root of 4 square root 11 over 2. Square root of 4 is just an ordinary 2, and you would be expected to divide through by this 2. So minus 3 plus or minus 2 divided by 2 is gone, root 11. And another question from that same paper, and it's question 8b, so towards the end of the paper. For which values will the x-axis be a tangent to the curve? Now, x-axis is actually the line y equals 0, and your curve is this. It's the same with all of these questions. For intersection points, you set them equal. So basically 2kx squared plus 1 plus kx plus k equals 0. That's my graph equation I'm going to be looking at. Now, the question is asking me for it to be a tangent. So a tangent meets curve once. So basically, the discriminant b squared minus 4ac will equal 0. So your a is in front of the x squared, so 2k. Your b is in front of the x, so it's 1 plus k. And your c is on its own. So putting those numbers in. B squared, 1 plus k squared, minus 4 times a times c equals 0. Square out your brackets. Square the first, double the product, square the last, minus 8k squared equals 0. Tidy this up with everything on one side. So 7k squared minus 2k minus 1 equals 0. Using your quadratic formula in here, with a is 7, b is minus 2, and c is minus 1. So k is minus b minus minus 2 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. And if you work that out, you get 2 plus or minus the square root of, that's plus 28, add 4 is 32 over 14. 32 is the same as 2 plus or minus the square root of 16, the square root of 2 over 14. The square root of 16 is an ordinary 4. Now you can divide all of them ordinary numbers by 2 and you would be expected to do that. So 1 plus or minus 2 root 2 over 7.